Ms. Simmons, what was going on with your search for employment in San Diego?
Basically, my boyfriend at the time promised me that I would get a job immediately as far as regards of dancing. So that's the first thing that we started to do as soon as we got here because that's what I had underneath my belt. And I still went to do my best to find other jobs. And it has been like quite unfortunate, but I did find a restaurant job that I've been sticking to since I've been out here.
I don't remember any restaurant job she had when she first got there, not especially in the first 2 months.
Did she contribute anything financially?
She did contribute. There was a couple $100 here and there that she contributed towards their groceries. However, I also loaned them $200 a week for the first 2 to 3 months for groceries and gas, as well as let them use my car.
What was your brother doing?
My brother's working 2 jobs.
How much
also
was
help cover the rent.
How much was he contributing?
He was contributing at first at his part, which was $1,000, and then some extra for utilities. And then around the time of May, when I said I can't continue to afford this is putting me in financial detriment, he started covering both of their halves. So he was paying $2,100. So I mean, for her to say that he's the one who needs to pay me, he'd been paying me. It was her that needs to pay for that.
Ms. Simmons, did you agree to pay $1,000?
I agree. Only because I didn't want any trouble, but she actually loaned money to him because he asked. And every time he got paid, he would pay her back with that same check. So I'm just trying to like figure out like where do I even owe because
So you don't believe that you owe any money towards rent?
I believe I owe money for my dancing license and I may owe money for rent, but I know I don't owe that much because I don't have any transactions between me and her.
Okay.
And he promised to take care of me until I was able to get a job and get stable enough.
Tell me what was going on in the relationship. It started going south, right?
He started to drink a lot and also started to become very verbally abusive to the point where I would try to talk to him calmly and try to beg him to stay in the house and turn his back, and it would end with him just yelling at me, or when I'm trying to grab him to like, you know, not turn his back, he would turn around and just dig his claws in my wrist, and I just would leave it at that. So
Well,
I couldn't deal with it anymore.
You're shaking your head, but how would you know what was going on in there?
I witnessed one of these altercations, and Deja completely lost her mind to the point where she was screaming and throwing things and ran out of the house. No, she ran out into the street. I had neighbors see everything.
Ms. Simmons, we're not going to do that. All right.
I literally witnessed it, and she ran out of the house, was screaming. People almost called the police. I had to calm down my neighbors. They're shaking their heads. I said, Deja, you can't do this. You're going to get arrested here right in the street.
Did you ever think about, okay, you know what, this isn't working, but you can no longer stay in this house?
So we talked about this, me and my brother. It's actually in the text messages where we had discussed that maybe it was best for her to move back to Florida where she had family. She had mentioned that she was homesick, she wasn't getting a job, and I said, at this point, I might need to be the bad guy because I can't afford to feed another mouth.
You ended the relationship?
I ended it.
Okay. And you're shaking your head no?
No, my brother ended the relationship, which is why she left in the middle of the night without any notice.
Well, but how do you know? How do you know?
Because he told me, I actually have the text messages there as well, when he said I need to break up with her. And the day of that he broke up with her, she did not go to my best friend's anniversary party because he had broken up with her that day.
But eventually, whoever broke up with who, the relationship ended. Did you notify them? Did you say, hey, I'm leaving, I'm packing my bags?
No, because I didn't feel safe being there. So that's why I up and rapidly lived. I don't know anybody in California. So
how did it happen from your perspective?
Oh, the circumstances of her moving out, it was literally in the middle of the night. So the next day, my brother messages me. He says, hey, Deja left. Like, the blinds are broken, the closet door is broken. She took everything, even took some of my belongings.
Why are there no photographs of all this
So
damage?
the thing is, I did not think that this would ever happen, that I would need to go to court. I had every faith that at some point she would pay me back until it started going wrong. And by that time, I didn't have the apartment anymore. So 2 weeks after is when everything started escalating. Like, the text messages between her and I were getting really toxic. And I said, I can't do this anymore. I'm not. So I blocked her on my phone, and I only had her communicate through my ex-boyfriend because it seemed like at least she was going to be amicable with him.
At some point, you did communicate with her to help mediate.
Yes, I'd asked. I said, well, where do you think she is? I don't want her to be on the street. I mean, at one point, this is somebody I considered my sister.
She reached out to you when you moved out?
She did reach out, but like the rest of what she's saying, I call honestly because...
Why are you cursing someone? This is a court of law.
This is how I'm feeling. Like, I say that she's lying. She never was there to witness any of these things, and I actually got admitted to the hospital for my anxiety attacks that I've been having, and I have had nobody there with me to help me with any of that.